Hi guys, thanks so much for tuning into this video. I am Jay Theo, and today we're going to be talking about 5 reasons hookup culture thrives in the gay community. Now, what sparked this video was actually my last video where I talked about ageism and aging in the gay community and just the different aspects of age within our community. But one of the stats when I was doing some research, I found that gay men are most likely to be single. Actually, 60% of gay men over the age of 45 are single. AARP recently did a study and found this information out. And it just really had me thinking, like, you know, I know hookup culture is a huge part of the gay community, but I definitely feel like it affects how we view romantic relationships and long-term relationships. So that stat got me thinking, like, okay, I want to kind of dive deeper into hookup culture and sex culture in the gay community and why it thrives so much and why it's such a hyper focus for us when it comes to being gay, to the point where we end up 45 and up and still looking for love and still single and still not having that romantic connection with someone. So guys, with all that being said, let's go ahead and dive right on into this video and let's discuss the 5 reasons why hookup culture thrives in the gay community. So the first reason I want to discuss when it comes to the gay community and hookup culture and why I think it thrives is, first off, commitment issues. And by no means do gay men have more commitment issues than other men and other people in the general society and general community. But there is some aspects of commitment issues that I want to talk about that I think can be somewhat inflated in the gay community, just based off our upbringing, based off how we were raised, based off things that have happened in our childhood, and just overall how we are seen in society. I definitely think it inflates and it induces us to have commitment issues. So I recently read an article by Good Therapy, and they did a whole article and discussion on commitment issues. And one of the interesting things that I saw was this term called attachment insecurity. And it broke down 3 different aspects of attachment insecurity and kind of how it manifests. So I want to walk through that because I think this is something that I feel like a lot of gay, queer people can relate to when I kind of walk through some of these attachment insecurities, because I think we just deal with certain things in our life that, like I said, I feel like can inflate and induce some of these feelings of attachment insecurity. So the 3 different aspects of attachment insecurity when it comes to commitment issues are fearful, avoidant, dismissive, avoidant, and anxious, preoccupied. For these 3 different concepts of an attachment insecurity, I'm gonna read off these quotes that they paired with the concepts to better describe what the concept is. So for fearful avoidant, the quote is, "I want to commit a relationship, but I'm afraid that I may get hurt." Dismissive avoidant, "I don't need you, nor do I need you to depend on me." And anxious preoccupied, which is, "I really want to be close to you, but I do not think you want to be close to me." And when I read these, all 3 of them really resonated with me as a gay person, as a queer person. And I really wanted to read those out because I feel like a lot of other queer people could really probably resonate with these different aspects of attachment insecurity, because I feel like a lot of them sound like the result of abandonment from family member, or abandonment as a child, or some type of disconnect from someone that was supposed to be a caregiver, that was supposed to be supportive. I feel like all these different aspects kind of speak to that. I mean, fearful avoidance, "I want to commit a relationship, but I'm afraid I may get hurt." That means that there was somewhere in our past that we probably got hurt by someone. Dismissive avoidant, "I don't need you, nor do I need you to depend on me." I feel like a lot of queer people, you know, get kicked out of their homes, they are abandoned by their family, and they have to really depend on themselves. And then anxious preoccupied, "I really want to be close to you, but I don't think you want to be close to me." And I think with this, I think a lot of DL culture, I think a lot of closet culture, a lot of people that are not okay with themselves can influence other people to feel like, oh, if they're not even okay with themselves, how will they be okay with me? How will they love me? How will they appreciate and accept me? So I really wanted to speak to those 3 different concepts of attachment insecurity when it comes to commitment issues, because I feel like those things are things I think a lot of gay people can relate to because of the challenges we have growing up and dealing with, you know, our families and the stress that comes with that, and the sense of abandonment that a lot of us have when we come out and when we are honest about our sexuality. That's kind of all I really want to say on commitment issues. I think we, as gay men, we do have commitment issues, and I think in the queer world, a lot of our commitment issues are induced, are inflated based off our upbringing as children. So that segues into my next reason why I think hookup culture thrives in the gay community is family abandonment. I really think the fact that a lot of gay people's family if they don't physically abandon them, if they emotionally abandon them, if they showcase this level of detachment from a parent, from a brother, from a sibling, from anyone in your family, if they abandon you, they disattach from you because you are gay, then I feel like that's creating a thought process in your head that even the people that are supposed to be most dear to my heart and some of the most intimate relationships when it comes to family can abandon me and can leave me. And I think that in turn kind of leads to some of these attachment insecurities we feel when it comes to having commitment issues. So I definitely think family abandonment is a huge reason why we focus so much more on hookup culture in the gay community than actually looking for long-term, serious, committed relationships. I think that it's just a lot easier, quote unquote, for us to just hook up, not build these connections, not build these feelings where we are protecting ourselves and kind of in a way self-sabotaging ourselves from getting hurt, you know. And I understand this 100%. I did not have a close relationship with my dad. I did feel abandoned by my dad in a sense of emotionally. He was married to my mom. He was a part of my life, but he emotionally wasn't there. And also even physically, my dad would lock his door in his room. He wouldn't really speak to us as kids very often throughout our days. So I just never felt this deep connection to my father. And I feel like that in turn has made it a lot easier for me to disengage, disattach when I'm dating and getting to know guys. I definitely can say, and this is something I've worked through with therapy, that I definitely can easily separate myself from a guy if I'm getting to know him. I can definitely cut it off really quickly. I've been bad at ghosting in the past, so I definitely have realized that I definitely have things from, you know, daddy issues or things from my family and the abandonment from my father in a sense of emotionally that has kind of made me kind of have my guard up really high to where I think it's just way easier to hook up. It's way easier just to have fun, have sex, and not commit and not feel like I'm really putting my, you know, I'm not really putting all my vulnerabilities out there. I'm not having someone, I'm just not leaning into loving someone, leaning into being intimate with someone in that way, and in a sense I'm protecting myself from getting hurt. And I think a lot of people do this. I think a lot of people do this in general, but I definitely think a lot of queer people do this because we do have so much family stress. I mean, I recently read an article a few months back about family stress. I know in the Black LGBTQ community, about 49 to 50% of Black LGBT people have stress induced by their family. Like, they literally are depressed and stressed out because of their family. And this was adults. These are people over 18. So a lot of queer people have issues with their family, and I think these family issues then in turn induce us to be more sexual and less focused on commitment, less focused on deeper meaningful relationships, and more about a quick fix, a quick hookup, that quick love, lust, so to speak. So that's my second reasoning for why I think hookup culture thrives in the gay community, is that family abandonment really makes us not prioritize romantic and long-term relationships. It really has us more focused on that quick hookup fix because it's just, we're protecting ourselves and we're self-sabotaging ourselves, but I feel like it's a way to protect ourselves from dealing with hurt, from dealing with feeling abandoned, from dealing with somebody's not gonna love us. The next reason I wanna talk about is accessibility. In the gay community, hooking up is one of the easiest things you can do. You can literally get on your phone and find someone meters away, feet away, that you can hook up with. It is super, super easy. Not always safe, but it's super easy. And I feel like all the apps, Grindr, Jacked, even Tinder, Hinge, has made it just extremely easy to meet hookups very, very easily. And even just sex parties and just like the whole sex culture circuit parties in the gay community has made it extremely, extremely easy to hook up and to not have to even go through the process of going on a date or meeting someone out, to even have to hook up. You literally can go to these parties, you literally can meet someone on an app and they can be at your house in 10, 15 minutes or vice versa. So accessibility has really, really made hookup culture thrive in the gay community. Obviously, it's also made sexual health a huge concern in the gay community. Always get tested, guys. Get tested. The accessibility has just made it way easier. When something's accessible and it's easy, then it makes it way easier to kind of forget, oh, do I want a romantic relationship? Oh, do I want an intimate connection? When you have this accessibility. And I mean, at the end of the day, sex is fun. Hooking up is fun. But for some people, it really becomes something that, you know, they really connect to. And I can speak for myself. I mean, I'm someone who I haven't been in a long-term relationship, so I have found that hooking up and meeting people connecting in that way sometimes just easier than dealing with all the drama and the drama. See, I'm negating intimate relationships, but all the things that can happen in an intimate relationship. Will he like me? Will he not like me? Will he want to go on a date with me? Will he be into me tomorrow, not be into me the next day? Especially now dating these days, everybody's so superficial. I mean, there definitely is a lot of insecurity, like I said, attachment insecurity that comes through when you are dating. And I feel like hooking up and the ease of sex and the ease of just hookup culture in the gay community just makes it so much easier to just forget even the desire of wanting an intimate romantic relationship. Okay, so this is another easy segue. So the fourth reason obviously is hypersexuality. And the one thing about being a man is that community and society really hypes up hypersexuality. I mean, even straight men, this is always told that you need to sleep with a bunch of women. Basically your manhood is dependent on how many bodies you have, how many virginities you took, and how many women you slept with. And I feel like in the gay community it's similar. Like, being gay is to be sexual, being gay is to want sex. And a lot of what we see in the media of gayness, that's what it showcases. It shows us being sexual. And even in our community, a lot of the parties, events we have are always focused on shirtless men, sex, hookups. Like, everything we do in the gay community, a lot of it is really, really focused on sex. So hypersexuality being an aspect of our culture is only gonna be the catalyst to why we like to hook up so much. And like I said, the ease of access, like, so many things you go through and experience as a gay person, event-wise, experience-wise, is always gonna throw that sex in there. It's always gonna amplify it and show you that sex is like such a big focus of our community. So if that's a big focus, then you as a gay person, you're gonna internalize that and you are going to try to be as sexual as you can be. Especially when you're making these weak connections, when it's hard to date, it's hard to build seriousness with people, you're gonna start just being more sexual and leaning more into that if you have a high libido, if you do like sex, because if you're not building these connections, you're still gonna wanna get it. So I definitely think hypersexuality is a huge aspect of why hookup culture is such a huge phenomenon in the gay community. And I think it's just an aspect of masculinity, it's an aspect of what being a man is. And I think that's why a lot of closeted gays tend to just be super into just focusing primarily on the sex, because they feel like that's really what it means to be gay, to be sexual, to be discreet, to be down low, is the sex part. So I definitely think that is something that negatively impacts our desire to want to have romantic, intimate relationships. And lastly, the fifth reason why I think hookup culture thrives so much in the gay community is also delayed adolescence. So I'll talk about this a little bit in one of my videos where I talked about friendship, but I definitely think that we in the gay community, and I've actually researched this, we have a delayed adolescence because in our teens and our early 20s, we didn't get the same opportunity to date and socialize in the same way as our straight counterparts, dating in our teens, getting to know in our teens, having sex in our teens, being young teenagers, being young adults, and experiencing those first relationships, those first sexual opportunities. By not experiencing those things, we really missed out with our adolescence, so we are experiencing a delayed adolescence. So a lot of us are experiencing what straight people experiencing their teens and their early 20s, we're experiencing in our mid-20s to 30s. We're experiencing this delayed adolescence and this desire to hook up and to be young and to have sex and just be free, and not so focused on intimate relations, because we didn't even have that experience. We had no experience dating other men because our families, a lot of us, we were in the closet. We didn't come out till we were older, until we felt like it was okay. And even when we did come out, a lot of our families weren't supportive, and a lot of our dynamics that we were in wasn't supportive for us to feel like we could openly date and be ourselves. And even now, I meet men that are 30 that they're openly gay, but they still don't want to hold hands in public. They just still feel like they still have that internal homophobia that prevents them from wanting to really pursue an intimate romantic relationship in the same way that straight people can. Delayed adolescence is a huge reason hookup culture thrives in the gay community, because a lot of us, this is our first time experiencing it. Or some of us, if we do come out later, if we've had a beard for a period of time, if we were in the closet, if we were entertaining women, and we finally got to the point where we are gay and we're out, a lot of the times that could be in your mid to late 20s and your 30s, and you still want to experience being young. You want to experience having sex. You want to experience having fun before you're diving into a super intimate, serious relationship, especially when you never even got to really witness a gay relationship. A lot of us have not even witnessed a successful, romantic, intimate gay relationship. So then where is this insight gonna come from on how to manage that with a man? Because a relationship, two men, that is a different dynamic than a man and a woman and two women. So, and the fact that a lot of us haven't even experienced that, and the thought of diving deep into some serious relationship right when you come out, right when you come to terms with being gay, you know, that just doesn't seem ideal. But like, I mean, that just doesn't seem ideal for a lot of gay men, which I totally understand. If you have a delayed adolescence, you want to experience some type of adolescence. And at the same time, if you have not experienced and witnessed a gay, successful, intimate, romantic relationship, like, what is gonna inspire you to wanna pursue that? You know, especially when hooking up. Like I said, the accessibility, hooking up and connecting with people on a hookup sex level is just so much easier. At the end of the day, getting sex as a man from another man is the easiest thing you can do. Getting sex as a gay man is the easiest thing you can get, period. So, it's like, what's the incentive to want to be in a romantic relationship? Not saying sex should be the incentive, but for a lot of people, it's like, oh, I can just hook up. I don't have to deal with the drama of a relationship, blah, 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 blah. But then in turn, we get older and we're starting to realize that we are not finding partnership, we're not finding romantic connection. And then, you know, we become depressed and unhappy because we are getting older and we're not finding love as gay men. So all that to say, I really just think this is something we need to talk about, is like, and just kind of get a deeper understanding as to why do we operate the way we do. Because I actually found a lot of this information when I was doing the research really insightful on kind of how I view myself, because I am someone who has a high libido, I am a sexual being, and I haven't really been in a long-term intimate relationship. Not saying that I haven't wanted to. If you watch some of my videos, you'll see discussions on me when it comes to dating and relationships. But, you know, I definitely have leaned in a lot into hookup culture as a gay man. And I'm really just curious to how you guys feel in the comments. Do you feel like the hookup culture is an issue? How much it thrives in the gay community? Do you feel like enough of us are seeking intimate romantic relationships? Do you feel like your childhood, your adolescence, or lack thereof has really played an impact in how you view romantic, intimate relationships? I would love to hear your thoughts on this topic, guys. I think hookup culture is a huge aspect of the gay community, and we gotta talk about it. And I think it's great for us to have these deeper conversations, really ask ourselves, how do I fit in the gay community? How do I affect hookup culture? How do I affect long-term intimate relationships? And do I want one? Do I want a long-term intimate relationship? Do I just like hooking up? Do I think about myself when I get older? If I'm over 45, if I'm in my 50s and 60s and I haven't found a romantic partner, will I be happy with that? And some people are happy not having a romantic partner. But it is, like I've discussed in my last video, ageism and depression is something that really does manifest for gay men as we get older. So are we setting ourselves up for success with such a hyper focus on hookup culture and not enough of a focus of wanting to experience intimate romantic relationships? So guys, with all that being said, I hope you guys found this video insightful. Hookup culture is a dynamic topic that we can talk about a lot when it comes to the gay community, but I definitely hope that this started some gears going in our heads on how we impact hookup culture, how we impact romantic, intimate relationships in the gay community. Be sure to hit the thumbs up if you like this video. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't, if you're liking this content, and be sure to comment. I love to hear from you guys. I love to hear what you guys got to say. But as always, guys, be sure to stay safe, stay positive, and I will see you guys on the next video.